Hey everyone, Genevieve here. I'm in Costa Rica, and it's funny. I thought coming here I would like turn off all of my electronics and really unplug. And if anything, what it's doing is getting me to want to be in this work even more and really dive into it. And every 5 seconds, I'm getting another idea. And I just got back from dinner, and instead of going in the jacuzzi, which I'm about to do, I figured I would jump on and see if you guys have any questions for me. So this is your time to ask anything on money, on sex, on spirituality. This is your time to, if you're struggling with something, if you're going through something in your life and you want to play and see what's there, we can do that together now. So I'll be on for the next couple minutes as questions are asked, and I'm also realizing it's a little late East Coast time, so I don't know how many of you will really come on, but we'll play. We'll see. I got a hunch that I'm supposed to be here, so here I am. Do you hear the bugs and funny noises outside? I love Costa Rica. I don't even know what makes that sound. It's such a cool sound. So this is your time to ask me anything. I see some people popping on Instagram. Any questions that are coming up? And I can also, let me go into, while you guys are coming up with some questions, I can go into my question bank, right, of people that have asked me questions. I have like a little bank of your questions, so I will read them and see. Okay, how am I going to make more money appear? Okay, that was the question. I don't remember who asked that, but if you asked that question from me, here I am, I'm going to answer it. How do I make more money appear? First thing to do is to recognize that the you that's trying to make money appear is exactly the same you that's stopping money from appearing, right? The you that is addicted to the struggle of how can I make money appear, right, is the you that is unable to receive that which you already are. So rather than what I would do is really stop doing things to try to make money appear, and instead find where your body can relax and let go. Find where your body can really deeply surrender. Learn your erotic blueprint, practice it on yourself, be in your body with it, do a daily self-pleasure, daily self-intimacy practice so that you can start to open up. And then in that, all of the doing falls away, and we get to this beautiful place of being, and then money just flows in that space. Okay, and then we got another question on Instagram. Maisa, I might be saying your name wrong, I apologize. I have to sneeze. There it goes. Okay. Mesa says, I've been very disconnected from my sexuality. Any tips on how to spark that back? Yeah. And babe, Maisa, honey, talk to me more, right? So like, I'm going to give you some downloads of what's here, and then talk to me more of what's coming up for you so that we can see what else we want to shift, right? So you're telling me that you're disconnected from your body, and my ask is, or from your sexuality, and my ask is, are you actually disconnected from your body, right? Like, what is your experience of your body right now? If I were to ask you what sensations you're feeling in your lower abdomen, could you tell me? Or what sensations you're feeling in your neck, could you tell me? Could you give me descriptors? Could you really sink into your body? How aware are you of your body's intuitive hit, right? Because to be disconnected from our sexuality, we're often not embodied, right? We're in our minds and we're thinking about sex. And in that, thought process. I just realized how shadowy I am in the video on Facebook. Sorry, guys. In that thought process, look, there was a thought. In that thought process, we are no longer embodied in our sexuality and in our truth and in our being. So that's step one. Step two is to start to decondition yourself from the things that are stopping you from fully expressing your sexuality. So from the places that are not allowing you to let go and to be fully expressed, we want to start finding those blocks and releasing them. And the way that I do it is through the core erotic blueprints. So you want to learn which erotic blueprint is yours, and then you want to start giving yourself, feeding yourself in your erotic blueprint daily. And what that'll do is it'll start to allow your nervous system, which right now is probably pretty constricted, it'll allow your nervous system to start to relax and fall away from the places that are fear-based or in judgment or in shame. And then sexuality can start to run through you. There's 5 erotic blueprints. So while I'm talking about these, Maisa, you can write in which one you think you might be. I'll go through them real quick. And I want you to think of these as like, what's the manner in which my body can most easily access pleasure, right? Like what's the type of touch or sensation on my body that is going to give me the quickest, most effective way for me to relax. So there's the energetic, right? The energetic blueprint is what you want for, if you're an energetic, you want like eye contact, you want the ability to be still, to really deeply connect with your partner. That's your turn on space. That's how you most easily fall into that space. Your shadow is that you may jump out of your body or disconnect. The sensual, you get really turned on by all 5 senses being lit up, right? So by scent, by smell, by taste, by touch. And your shadow may be that you get stuck in your head, and so your orgasm may feel hard to catch, right? Like it kind of flies away once you think of something. The kinkies, you're going to be turned on by anything that's taboo for you. You're going to be turned on by power play. You're going to be turned on by sensation, by kinky sensation. And your shadow is going to be when you are in shame around your desire, right? Like, this is not okay for me to like this. And then the shapeshifter, you want all of them. You're turned on by all of them. Oh, I forgot one. The sexual. Sexuals get turned on by penetrative sex and orgasm. And the shadow is that you may miss the journey, right? And then the shapeshifter is all of them. You often want it all. And then the shadow is, am I too much for wanting it all? So in those blueprints, I'm curious, those of you watching on Instagram and Facebook, which one do you think you are, right? Where do you think you fall in that? What does your nervous system most quickly respond to? And if you don't know, start giving yourself a daily practice, right? A daily 10 to 20 minute practice where you can really ground into your body, listen to your body and say, like, what do you actually like? Like, what does my body actually want? This was in my own sexual journey. This was a big thing for me because I was trying to ignite my sexuality through sensual touch, which was how I thought I should be touched, right? Like that kind of like this touch, right? Which I love nowadays because I've opened my nervous system to it. But back in the day, the touch that I needed was kinky. I needed like scratching. I needed like, that was how my body relaxed. And I didn't know that. And when I learned that, it was such a huge key for me in unlocking my sexuality. Like, oh, this is simply where my nervous system is today, right? Like, I don't need to do anything to change it. It's great. And then I started to feed myself and find my sexuality again. So Maisa on Facebook or on Instagram, thank you for asking that question. That's a great question. And I know that fed other people watching. So I really appreciate it. Not like any of these questions are better or worse, right? They're all amazing. So just, I guess the thank you is more thank you for engaging with me and for showing me the places where you may be doubtful or scared. I see another question on Facebook. I see 2 of them. Okay, so first I'm going to answer John's. Hey, John. John says, after you have been through a painful breakup, how do you know when your heart chakra is open again? Yeah. Just debating which angle to go at with this. Okay, so the first thing I want to give you, John, is that maybe the heart chakra doesn't need to close. That's just one route. Is that maybe because we think it should close, or because we think society tells us that we're now heartbroken, that our heart needs to close, right? Maybe not. Also, maybe it could close and then open in a span of 20 minutes or 20 years or 20 days. So what I'm kind of getting at here, John, with you is that when we think of, I know you didn't ask about time, but I just want to like play with this idea that like the open closing piece doesn't need to be quite as solid and defined as this question is kind of asking, right? So, and then how do you know is by your experience, right? So he's asking, how do you know when your heart chakra is open? It's through your experience. So is your experience of your heart chakra open? Do you feel free in that area of your body? Does it feel open? If it doesn't feel open, then maybe it's not, right? And there's no judgment around it. If you want to open it, there's a million things you can do, right? And it doesn't have to be hard, right? So just wanted to give you that. And I just saw on Instagram, my service might be cutting out. I hope you guys are okay on Facebook. Facebook seems to be stronger if you guys want to follow me on Facebook, because you guys seem to be okay on Facebook. Okay, John, thank you for that question, love. That was beautiful. Kevin, have strong masculine and feminine, even in my sexuality. Hard forever to integrate, especially in never finding partners who can handle both. Right, I'm a poet and it confused my creativity. Yeah, so let's see what angle I want to go out with this one. So Kevin, what this reminds me of, I'm going to actually take this from some of my personal life. Hi, Casey, thank you. Oh yeah, there's poor connection on Instagram. Guys, I'm going to leave, well, I'll just let it run, whatever, it'll figure it out. Okay, so who was I talking to? Kevin. Kevin, I'm going to take this from some of my personal experience. So I was a lesbian for a long time, over a decade, where I was solely with women. And this is one thing that happens in lesbian relationships, actually, funny enough, is that lesbian women or same-sex couples, there aren't clearly defined masculine and feminine roles, right? So while you might see a lesbian, I'm going to get to the point in a second. Let me just tell the story first. While you might see a woman who's got more of the masculine look about her, right? And then we like to put her in a box of, oh, she must be the masculine role. It doesn't really work like that with lesbians. There's more of a fluidity of like, she's going to be in her masculine, I'm going to be in my feminine, and then as soon as I notice her in her feminine, then I'll switch into my masculine and hold that, and we'll kind of maneuver back and forth, right? So I learned that in the same-sex world, and now coming into, learning in my personal life and in the more hetero world or heteronormative world, and learning that there's more of a definition of the roles, right? And I think there's a beauty in that and a freedom in that. And like, that's really incredible. And there's this piece here that's tricky, Kevin, that you're bringing up, which is, well, what if I don't fall into, like, what if I'm more 50-50 masculine, feminine? And I'm assuming that, Kevin, that you don't really want to change that, right? So the answer here is to become very aware of your own energy, right? To become very sovereign in your own energy. So, which is how we do this in lesbian world, so I'm just going to give you, I keep saying I'm going to write a book called Lesbian Sex Tips for the Straight Man. I don't know if I ever will, but I should. And if someone already wrote one, damn it, but I should. But here's the thing, right? So in the lesbian world, a sex tip or a tip with relationship is to constantly be aware of what energy am I in right now? Am I in the feminine or the masculine? And then in that space, what do I need, right? So right now, I'm feeling more in my feminine space. Meh, that's not true at all. I'm more of my masculine right now. And so what I need right now is like logic. I need to know, I need to like output, right? That's why I'm on a live with you guys. I need to create something. I need to like do a thing. That's when I'm, that's the space I'm in right now. And so having that awareness then allows us to be honest with our partner. So here's where in the lesbian world, let me just set up like an example. It would be, oh, okay, live video ends on Instagram. So for example, there would be like, I would be feeling in my masculine. My partner would also be feeling in her masculine. I would say, I'm feeling masculine right now, or something. I maybe wouldn't use that wording. And then would notice that she was also in that space. And then I would go and take care of me, right? On my own. So I would go and, my masculine energy often needs space. So I would go and find space, right? Now, if I was in my feminine and my feminine energy wanted hugs and she was in her feminine and neither one of us really wanted to hold each other, then we would actually take turns holding each other, right? I would say, well, I'll hold you. And then, I feel like I can do that right now and then we'll swap, right? So this is kind of like a 5,000 part answer. Thank you for following this with me, Kevin, because I kind of went on a loop to loop. But I want you to, you don't have to do anything, but what you could play in is this idea of being really upfront and honest and not trying to be more of anything, which doesn't sound like you are. But when you're dating and when you're looking to date people, like be really upfront of like, this is where my energy is. Right? When I date now, I tell people I'm about 50-50 masculine, feminine, like maybe a little more feminine, barely, like maybe 5% more. And I let my partner know that so that they know that if they're seeing me in the feminine, they're not going to get confused if I flip into masculine, and they're going to want that, right? So yeah, I would go with communication and honesty. That's where I'd play. I hope that helped you, Kevin, and that download kind of gave you something. It feels like there's more here. So I'm curious kind of if you could respond to me with what that brought up for you, and then I'll let you know it just feels like we're not quite done and there's more here. But I'll read the other ones in the meantime. Yeah, and I guess this is kind of a theme for everyone, just in reading through everyone again. What if just for tonight, nothing was hard? What if it wasn't hard to get over someone, or hard to integrate, or hard to make money, or hard to, like, what if just for tonight, like, there wasn't really a difference between hard and easy? What if just for tonight, all of your perceived difficulty was simply a disconnection from your body, right? From your life force, from that force that runs within you. And what if just for tonight, if we found that, then, right, then we wouldn't even have the word hard in our vocabulary anymore. Yeah. All right. This feels complete. Hey, Betsy, thanks for tuning in. I was just doing a live Q&A. We talked about some cool stuff. I'll keep popping in. It feels funny. I thought I'd be disappeared in Costa Rica and like wouldn't want to, and I feel like really engaged with you guys here. So that's just what's going to happen. I'm going to keep engaging with you. Instagram stories, I'm doing a lot of those like throughout the debauchery of this week. So if you want to follow me on there, I'd love that. If you want to see what we're up to, there's some cool stuff going on. And it was lovely to be with you guys tonight and to answer your questions and connect with you. And yeah, just remember you're already it. You've got it. Your bodies are incredible. Take care of them. Good night.